Lady Dimitrescu is actually one of several villains introduced this year in Resident Evil 8: The Village. But as popular as this character has been, I haven't seen all that much discussion of her in terms of being a creature design. So that will be the topic of this video. Do I think that this character is an interesting monster? So, Dimitrescu is effectively a vampire, which is to say, she's one of many entities mutated by the same parasitic organism, but her particular mutations mean that she sustains herself on blood and she doesn't age. She does, however, grow slowly but steadily larger over time, and I do think there's an underrated scariness to the fact that we don't know how far this mutation can go. Like, how big is she going to get if she were to continue for like another 1,000 years? Would she just be like this horrible giant, like a mommy so big she can step on other mommies? That is not a future timeline I want to be a part of, and but it could happen. If you start this game and you don't finish, that is what you have wrought, Ethan. But anyway, where was I? The only other thing besides her being like really tall in her human form is that she's got these pretty cool retractable claws, excessively long. They're like 10-foot long claws. And she's also got a whole alternate monster form. But before we get to that, we need to talk about her family. Basically, her 3 creepy daughters, who I guess are basically also vampires, functionally. They also drink blood, but they're kind of also considered witches, and that's also interesting, but honestly, it doesn't really mean anything, because whether they are vampires or witches, that, on their part, that is just these girls LARPing. Let's admit it. These kids are LARPing as vampire witches, because they are not at all the same kind of monster as their mommy. They aren't even actually humanoid. Each one is a sentient swarm of flies, which is awesome. They're specifically some kind of blowfly, like you'd find around corpses. And apparently these blowflies can achieve a convincing human form by essentially just changing color, like cuttlefish. I'm not really sure how that works, but it does. It works really well. These are some high-definition flies, I gotta say. Much higher definition than I would expect. A fly is a lot larger than a pixel, but it's cool. It's a really cool concept. I just wish we had gotten, like, at least one more form out of them for a boss fight. Like, maybe they lead you to believe they're all dead, but they all merge together into one big fly monster. That would be really cool. There's even a guy in a previous game, Derek Simmons in Resident Evil 6. He can turn into a big giant fly, and he's not even a fly guy. He's not fly-themed in any way that we know of up to that point. If he could do it, there's no reason that these girls couldn't have done it. I just think they would have deserved that more. I also wish this kind of, like, tied in a little bit more with Dimitrescu herself. Because as far as we know, the mommy is not made of flies. The mommy is just made of meat. But like I said, she does have a boss form that's still pretty cool. It's like this putrid, warty, oozing, greasy, probably sweaty, tumorous, dog. Like a big doggy with wings. The face is just jaws, like lots of different, just this matryoshka of teeth for a face. And Dimitrescu is just like this slimy, naked lady torso on top, like a little hat. That is very Japanese. That is a kind of visual sort of popularized originally by Devilman, and then kind of ran with by Berserk for decades there. But I like that she sees herself as a dragon, I guess, like an awesome, she's got, a dragon sona, but, she hypes this up, and she's so proud of, her inner dragon, and it's a barf monster. There's no other way to put it, but no one's going to tell her that. Her kids are like, cool dragon, mommy. But seriously, this is a good design. The mouth is very similar to the later stages of William Birkin from Resident Evil 2, and this does carry kind of an insectoid vibe when you look at all the dangling mandibles and the fact that there's a long retractable tongue in there. I also love the constantly writhing tentacles throughout her flesh, and these horrible clusters of throbbing pores, which, I'm delighted to inform you, look exactly like the scabbed over developmental chambers of botfly maggots. So, there you go. I guess that might be a reference back to her daughters. Maybe she's even made of bugs herself. Maybe she's not made of mommy meat. Her humanoid torso also kind of looks like it's just woven together from tentacles. It really gives an impression that she's working with what she has. She's not pulling off what she intended, but she is pulling it off majestically. This is a majestic barf monster. I'm just not a fan of the color scheme here, or the lack thereof. I don't know why so many horror games are so married to grays and browns, but Resident Evil has even been washing the color out of their designs in the remake games. If anything can be said of Dimitrescu's monochrome look, it does kind of evoke a stone gargoyle, which is fairly appropriate. 9 out of 10 anatomically, 4 out of 10 chromatically. But anyway, let's wrap this up. If we are to consider this the first, official vampire in a Biohazard game, I'm just really, really glad that it doesn't resemble any other vampire I can think of in any other piece of media. Yeah, she lives in a castle with her creepy daughters. That's an established vampire thing. And she's also obviously designed to be sexy, which has been a vampire cliche for decades. But even that's done in kind of a refreshing way here, because I can't think of many sexy lady vampires who are played up for this kind of imposing, immediately threatening presence. This is a vampire that could still seduce 90% of you, according to your Tumblr posts. But if you're at all surprised when she rips you in half, that's on you.
Like I'd let you get away.